What's going on, Legionnaires, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor and hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, and make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out. Now for this video, we're going to be jumping into some Wonder Woman, issue number 772. Now if you haven't been keeping on with what's going on with Wonder Woman, go ahead and check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It's going to get you caught up on everything that's been going on since the Dark Knight's death metal event. Now, this is written by Michael Conrad and Becky Cloonan. Art is by Travis Moore. Colors are by Tamara Bonvillain, one of my favorite colorists. And what we've seen so far in this Wonder Woman line, we've seen Wonder Woman somehow ending up in Valhalla. Ending up in Valhalla with absolutely no memories. But what she's been trying to do since she's been here is trying to save the Tree of Life. And so through a chain of events, she ended up inside an egg swallowed by a giant serpent, all in order to try to get a key that will open the door to the Hall of Valkyries. And with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright guys, so this issue, it opens us up with Wonder Woman stuck inside this serpent. And inside, she breaks free of this egg. Now the serpent realizes that she is still alive inside, and he asks what kind of trickery this is. And obviously, he's extremely furious. You know, they just tricked him. And Wonder Woman, you know, she's not thrilled about this either. Like, she didn't want to be inside the stomach of this serpent. But technically, he wasn't tricked. Technically, he was given an egg. What was inside the egg was never debated. But she needed to get inside the serpent so she could get that key. And as Wonder Woman is making her way around inside of this serpent, she's looking for this key, but this is when the gases, the fumes inside the serpent, they start to affect her, and we see her drop down, and we see her slowly die. And this is when the individual that's been talking to her this whole time calls out to her, tells her that she needs to wake up. You know, this individual is kind of mad at Wonder Woman right now because, you know, Wonder Woman doesn't have the time to be doing this, but Wonder Woman needs to remember who she is. And all of this isn't helping. You know, and this individual isn't supposed to interfere, but he does. He decides to interfere and gives Diana the ring. I'm sorry, I meant key. Gives Diana the key that will unlock the door for the Valkyries. And this is where he tells her to get up and fight. And Wonder Woman, she wakes up. She gets up, grabs a sword, and makes her way up the snake, forcing the snake to make the snake throw up. And we see Wonder Woman come out of the snake with the key. And they take this opportunity to run as fast as they can. And as they're making their way outside of the cave, this is when Diana, she runs into Siegfried. Now Siegfried is standing here and telling Diana that she needs to listen, that she needs to not seek out the Valkyries. And he swears that he is here to warn her that the Valkyries will not be reasoned with and will destroy any who would enter their fortress uninvited. And he begs her to forget about him. But we know Wonder Woman. We know Diana. Regardless if she doesn't know herself right now, there is no way that she is going to stop at this point. Now this is where we pick up on the battlefield, and we see Thor leading everybody in battle. And in the midst of this battle, Thor is interrupted in his war speech. He is interrupted by none other than the All-Father himself, the one and only Odin. And he demands that they stop all of this nonsense, all of it at once. And he lets Thor know that he's done a great job of mucking everything up, specifically using the magic weapons that were forged by them by the dwarves. And Odin lets him know that such things, they need to be cleared by the council. You know, and Odin doesn't need to know everything that is known to know that these weapons, these magic weapons, they're cursed. You know, if you look around, the Valkyries are disappearing and Thor has done nothing. The Tree of Life, it is slowly dying and he's done nothing. He is too busy playing with his new magic toys. And so Odin tells him that he needs to collect every single one of these magic weapons, collect them and destroy them all. And this is where we see Diana make her way through the crowd, and she is mad right now. You know, she knew somehow this was all connected, and she asks Odin what his theory may be. And this is where we see Odin. He attempts to tell her everything that he has theorized up to this point about what is happening. But this is when we see a giant freaking boulder come flying in from the other side of the battlefield and literally squash Odin like a bug. And so they have no choice. They have no choice but to fight this battle because it's right here at their feet, and Odin just died. Now, before he died, he called her Wonder Woman. And hearing this name, it resonates with her. She doesn't really quite remember it. Kind of like a shattered memory. But it stirs something in her heart. Something familiar. Something that is slowly returning to her. A dormant strength. Undying immortality. The feeling was almost euphoric for her and made her feel almost at home again. And this is where Thor sees her flying is in absolute amazement of her abilities on the battlefield. And this is where we see Wonder Woman and Thor team up together to take on the sea god. And as they charge in, Diana, she can't help but think of the name Arthur. She doesn't know who it is. She doesn't even know what it means. But she caught the memory like a rope and held onto it, pulling it towards her as hard as she could. You know, Arthur was a friend. He could speak to fish. She knew that they were part of a team, a force for good, that they were heroes. And this is where we see a giant crab grab onto her because she's too distracted by trying to hold onto this memory. And this crab just snaps her. And this is where she dies again. And the individual that's been in the shadows is really just getting tired of it at this point. Like, oh my god. Like, you freaking died again. And he's just kind of mad. You know, he's like, you know, I thought this job would be easy. You know, keep an eye on Wonder Woman. How hard could that possibly be? You know, she's just adjusting to the freaking afterlife. Now, passing into the wrong afterlife, that's what's been affecting her memory up to this point. And this is when the individual is finally like, all right, listen, this has gone on long enough. Like, you need to get out of this place. It's not right. And this is where he shows himself. And this individual is Dead Man. And this is where we see Wonder Woman. She's a little bit discombobulated. Seeing him, you know, it's like a foggy dream. So Dead Man has been tasked this whole time of keeping an eye on her as she adjusts to the afterlife. But something went wrong. And he's not sure what at this point. But now that she sees Dead Man, she can feel the pull of Olympus on her very soul. But she can't just leave this place. She gave her word to help them. And Dead Man, he kind of tries to let her know, like, this is all part of it. Like, Ragnarok is meant to happen. There is nothing that you can do to stop it up to this point. It is part of a cycle that is ever ending, and she refuses to let this be. She refuses to leave without doing some kind of good, without delaying it at the very least. And this is when we see Siegfried appear and let her know that he's right. They are bound to this fate. The sky will split in two, the seas will rise up, and that the swallow all of the land. And he tells her, you know, save yourself. But Dead Man, he tells them that it's too late because the Valkyries are inbound. And so Dead Man, he has to go, but reminds her that Olympus is in hot water and they need help. Appearing here was extremely risky, and he lets her know that he doesn't want to regret this decision. And Wonder Woman vows to go to Olympus right after she has helped Asgard. And this is where we see Siegfried try to do his best to distract the Valkyries so they don't see Wonder Woman. And we see Siegfried fly up to the sky to meet the Valkyries head to head. And so Wonder Woman ran, the warrior and the messenger, unsure of where they were supposed to be going, only knowing Diana didn't want Siegfried's sacrifice to be in vain. Now, as her and her little squirrel companion are sitting here not knowing in which direction to go, this is when we see something in the shadows. Something appear before her, and this something is Wonder Woman. It's an evil version of Wonder Woman, and this evil version lets us know that she is Wonder Woman, as Wonder Woman is meant to be. You know, this is what Wonder Woman will become. She likes it here. She can get a thrill out of all of this. All of the killing and the misogyny, she absolutely bathes in it. You know, here they can drink until all of their guiltless violence is filled without any kind of remorse or mortality. You know, if she stayed here and continued down this path, she could become the God Queen of Asgard. And this is where we see her rise her army of the dead, because this is where all the dead have been going. The Valkyries haven't been grabbing them. They've been going to this location. But this is where we see Wonder Woman have enough, and she goes to take on the God Queen. She draws her sword, and we see these two start to battle, only for Diana's sword to literally be split in half. And so Diana runs up using her fists and a swift kick. We see none other than Dr. Psycho come flying out of this god Wonder Woman, and everything around her dissipates. Because this was all an illusion. Dr. Psycho was trying to trick her, was trying to make sure that she would leave. Regardless if this isn't the truth yet or not, Dr. Psycho believes that this will happen if she doesn't leave. That if she sticks to the path that she's on, she'll only end up stuck here. And just like that, Dr. Psycho completely disappears. But this doesn't stop Diana. She's gonna keep going. And now they're not so lost. Dr. Psycho showing up and saying to continue on the path, what else could that mean but to continue to follow the path? She took this in a quite literal sense, and so they both continue down the path. They head their way through the forest, coming up to a body of water. In this body of water, they see a ferryman. Now, as Diana approaches this individual, she lets them know that they're lost. They're looking for the Fortress of the Valkyries. But the ferryman already knows, because the ferryman is the Allfather. It is Odin. Now, Wonder Woman, she's a little surprised, because she saw Odin get crushed. And Odin lets her know, yeah, that happens. More often than not these days. But he always comes back. Maybe he doesn't return as himself. Maybe he'll return as many forms. As a king, as a wanderer, as a shaman, as a warrior, as a warrior poet, as the Allfather. But today, he's coming back as a ferryman. Now, Diana, she's feeling very fortunate to have run into him. But Odin, he warns her, don't feel so fortunate, because right now you're heading to the Fortress of the Valkyries. And the Valkyries, they don't like visitors. They are never seen by any other individuals. You're not welcome there. And what's worse is they've been angry lately. More angry than usual. And as they make their way across the water, this is where we see the Fortress of the Valkyries start to come into light. And it is a giant, crystal-forming, floating island of pure amazement. And now Wonder Woman's only question is, how do I get inside? And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Personally, I've been really enjoying this line. It's nice to see DC tap into Thor and Odin and all the Norse mythology. And it's really awesome that Diana is there. She is the warrior princess at the end of the day. So if anybody were to go to Valhalla, it would be her. Now, obviously, this is by mistake and she should be in Olympus. And as the story unfolds, we're going to find out more and more about what exactly happened, how she got here, and why Deadman is sitting here pretty much babysitting her but not really interfering. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not yet, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you don't miss any of the awesome content we have coming out, and until the next breakdown.